Gabriel has already scored 4 Premier League goals this season inside, 13 matches. He's already scored 4. And are we actually talking about the biggest threat from set pieces we've ever seen in the Premier League? I mean, when you talk about highest scoring centre-backs in Premier League history, you're looking at John Terry with 41. And that was after, a whole career in the Premier League. Gabriel's only in his 5th season in the Premier League, and it looks like he's about to extend his contract and stay at the club even longer. And with the way our set pieces are going, how accurate they are, and how threatening he is in the box, in the air, and attacking headers, if he stays here long enough and we continue to be this much of a threat from set pieces, we could actually see him probably get close to that record that John Terry has. The overall number that Gabriel scored in the Premier League is 17. I think Van Dijk might be on around 21, might be 23, as one or the other. Nonetheless, Van Dijk, known as being a very big threat in the box for set pieces for Liverpool over the years, being arguably one of the greatest Premier League centre-backs ever. And for Gabriel to be this close to Van Dijk already, set pieces are starting to feel a little bit like a cheat code now. I mean, when you talk about going in the tunnel with this Man City team in the past however many seasons, you talk about Fergie's side being in the tunnel or Arsene Wenger's Invincibles being in the tunnel, and many teams would have been defeated even at that moment just because the aura and the reputation that those teams had. Now, I'm not saying this Arsenal team have that, but in regards to set pieces and corners, maybe some teams are sort of defeated before that corner kick is even taken because we're becoming that reliable from the corner kick. So much so that our fans are getting excited as if it's a penalty. So much so that you see some rival fans have to turn around or hold their breath when we take a corner because it's very likely that we're going to find the back of the net from corner kicks now. Look, some people may say, well, just stick 2 men on Gabriel and just make sure he don't win the header. But if you do that, all you're going to do is leave William Saliba open. All you're going to do is leave Calafiori open, or Timber open, or Kai Havertz open. And that's the team that Arteta's built. He's built a very big and aerially dominant team now. It's not just that, it's the corner kicks himself. Bukayo Saka is halfway from breaking the Premier League assist record held by Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry, who both got 20 in a season. Bukayo Saka's on 10 already inside the first 13 matches. And look, rival fans, haters, but Bukayo Saka, most of his assists are from corners. Okay, well, go get Foden to take a corner then, or go get Cole Palmer to take a corner then. Because as far as I'm concerned, last season when Cole Palmer was just scoring penalties, no one was bothered about that. It was all Cole Palmer, rub the shoulders. Nobody cared about the penalties. But it's fine. It's Bukayo Saka, so there always has to be a reason as to why he's not good or, he's not worthy of the praise that many Arsenal fans give him. And look, there's still so many games to go. We've seen it before, Kevin De Bruyne getting to January, on a stupid number of assists and then not quite, continuing that in the second half of the season. You've also got to rely on the people beside you and in front of you to finish those chances that you create for them. But as of right now, if we're analysing it right now, being on 10 assists, I think 5 goals as well, 15 GA inside 13 matches or 12 matches because he missed one, right? Against Bournemouth. He didn't play against Bournemouth. Anyways, 12 or 13 games, 15 GA already just goes to show how consistent, how good Bukayo Saka is. And I was questioning whether or not he's world class last season. I believed it was too early to say that. And I think people are very quick to throw a label on these players by calling them world class very quickly. But now I think he's shown and he's provided enough consistency and high level output to prove that he is world class now. You're probably talking about the second best right winger in the world behind Mohamed Salah. You're talking about England's best player. You're talking about the poster boy of Arsenal Football Club who does it in the Champions League, the Premier League, the Euros, the World Cup. And people don't want to call him world class. I didn't last season. Like I said, I don't like how people just quickly throw labels on players all the time. Cole Palmer's another one. Look, he's probably going to become world class, but I think it's too early to say he's world class right now because last season was his breakout season. You can't call a footballer who's had one full season world class. We need to stop rushing to give all these players these big labels. It's like when you look at Man United, if you were to do a tier list of world class to, whatever tier and bracket you like to rank your players, how can you name any player in that Man United squad as world class? No matter what Bruno Fernandes has done in the past, he's not done it in a good couple seasons now, so he's not world class, is he? Same as Rashford. It's not the days of Iniesta, Modric, Xavi, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, all these players from top to bottom. There's so many. And the bracket and the standard was so high for being world class. We've got to keep that bracket high. You can't just keep giving labels out, oh, he's world class, world class. Not every player is world class, or else there's no significance around the word and the labelling of being world class. But Bukayo Saka has done it enough now and at a high enough level now to be in that category for me. And I'm someone who's been very reluctant to give him that label. And it's not even just that. When you look at Mohamed Salah, the thing is his output consistently for 8 years in the Premier League, the output's just been on a different wavelength to what we've seen. And he probably goes and takes a spot in the all-time Premier League 11 by the time he retires. And we've seen the arguments and the comparisons with Eden Hazard. Yes, you'd like to go and watch Eden Hazard over watching a Mohamed Salah, but who do you want in your team who's going to go on and win you titles and pick up accolades? It's going to be Mohamed Salah. Why? Because he's going to give you consistent output every single season. Hazard didn't do that. The thing with Bukayo Saka, while he's not a silky, flary player who does step-overs all the time and skins players and goes on the half-turn like a Phil Foden does, he gives you output, but he also does give you the performances. He is the guy that Arsenal fans look at to go and bail us out, to go and provide a little bit of magic when we need it, to link up play and provide intelligence when we need it in different phases of play. His work rate also something that goes under the radar. Players of the past didn't have to do it because the game wasn't as systematic as it is now. Bukayo Saka has to be very careful and wary of what's going on behind him because he has to work back and defend and do his defensive duties as well. But he also does everything else too. I'm not saying he's on the same level as Mohamed Salah for output, but in terms of performances, the amount of games you can see Salah not do anything for 80 minutes, but he'll just show up for 5 minutes just to do what he needs to do and win Liverpool the match is what makes him Mohamed Salah. Bukayo Saka doesn't necessarily have to score or assist, but still come out of the game being man of the match. But he does also give you the goals and assists and the metrics and the creating of chances. He does give you that as well. And that's why I sort of look at him as being in between both. He's not just a pure output machine with no good performances, but he's also not just someone who will perform and not give you numbers. He's sort of in between. But we have to just go to Martin Odegaard now. And I know it's very easy just to sit here in every video and just talk about Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard because they're the two biggest stars at Arsenal Football Club. But from where Arsenal were and what some of us were holding on to was that Martin Odegaard's going to come back, and there's a very clear reason as to why Arsenal were not performing in the games that he was not playing in, because he has so much of an influence on this team. And a lot of people will moan and complain, oh, but you can't be so reliant on one single player. But when that player is so good and so vital and such an important cog to the system, unfortunately, that's just what it is. We're seeing it at Man City now. This insanely good Man City team, they lose one player in Rodri, and look how far they've crumbled. And this under the management of Pep Guardiola, arguably the greatest Premier League manager of all time. And it's not a shock that our best player comes back and all of a sudden we look like the same Arsenal that we should be. But we're 9 points behind Liverpool still, and the perspective is still very wide. We've seen the way they performed against Man City. This Man City team's in absolute shambles right now, don't get me wrong. But this Liverpool team are flying, and I still expect them to crumble at some point. Maybe not all at once, but gradually I think that 9-point lead will decrease. Whether or not it's enough for Arsenal to capitalise, I'm not sure. But when I look around us, yes, Chelsea are playing well, but they're not in a title race. They'll probably fall off at some point. This Man City team, I'm sure they'll start picking it up at some point, but not at the same level of dominance. And I can't see them picking up a strong run of wins like they do consistently every single season. I just don't see it with their team right now. Through performances, through the mood and the atmosphere at that club right now, with everything going on in the background, I just don't see it this season. I think this is going to go down as Pep Guardiola's worst season in the Premier League. I think the proof is there right in front of us. Just watch them play. They don't look like the same Man City team. They look like they're aging from top to bottom. So the only team really that I'm looking at to catch up with Liverpool is us. And it has to be us, because this is meant to be the season we're meant to be winning the league, not Liverpool. It's meant to be us. We're meant to be where Liverpool are right now. But because of the circumstances, we are not. Liverpool aren't going to go and win every single game from now and the end of the season. They're going to lose, and we still have an opportunity to beat them at Anfield. We've still got rid of most of our difficult games. I've spoken about that before. Already getting rid of Stamford Bridge, Villa Park, St James's Park, the Etihad, Liverpool at home, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium without our starting midfield. All of these are already done. So now, go on one of these traditional Man City runs, win a load of games, and catch up on Liverpool. Because like I said, they ain't going to continue winning every single game. But I'm going to leave it at that because we do have Man United on Wednesday. A lot of people were expecting this to be very easy because of where Man United are right now as a football club. But this is Arsenal versus Man United. And even at our very best, we see it every single season apart from last. When we're at our best and they're just not at it, they still find a way to just do us. And it's going to be at home. We're going to play with a lot more freedom, I think. Whether or not that works for us, I don't know, because we don't actually know enough about this Man United team yet. They've just won 4-0 against Everton, but we don't know enough under Ruben Amorim yet. So let's not give them anything, please. Can we just not? Let's not give them this spur of confidence, you know, Man United look back again. Let's not have any of that. Let's just turn up, be professional, do our jobs, and look, there's many times in the past where Arsenal were in the mud, United were flying, and they did not feel bad for us one bit, and they completely capitalised and destroyed us. Let's do the same again, please, because this United team are not good. I don't care about them winning 4-0 against Everton. They are not good. They're not in a good place. They're very much at the very beginning of a rebuild. Whether or not it goes on to work in the end, I'm not sure, because, again, we don't know enough about Ruben Amorim yet. But what we do know is what they have right now is not good enough to beat this Arsenal team. So don't give them anything, please, because they're going to be motivated for this. It's Arsenal versus United. Let's just get the job done, please. Let's just not have any fallout from this game. Get the 3 points, move on, because we're on a good bit of form right now. Let's not ruin it against these. But anyways, let me know. Do you reckon Gabriel's going to catch up to that John Terry record eventually by the end of his career? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to go follow me on TikTok and on Twitter as well. I'll put my accounts down in the description. Speak soon.